What's
up, hounds? It's Poir. I covered longsword meta builds, I covered bow meta builds, so with only a few days away from the first title update, it's time to cover some more weapons. So here is the Greatsword meta video to crush Mizu in Zoshia. If this video gets 600 likes, I'll make a pre-TU1 meta video for dual blades as well, so give the video a like and let's begin. Now, the title update is going to introduce two monsters, Mizu and Zoshia. Mizu likely won't change your weapon, even though the GS does look pretty, but Zoshia has a chance to mix up the GS Artian meta. But its weapon likely won't be Sleep, and Sleep is super strong with Greatsword, as a monster that is asleep will take twice the amount of damage from the first attack done to them, allowing you to get over 1 to 2k damage easily with a well-placed TCS, which is True Charge Slash. So the Sleep Artian is likely going to be the best in slot sword to make, even after Title Update 1. So for the Artian Rolls, you want 4 attack, 1 sharp for the upgrades, and 3 attack for the base. You might say, why not 5 attack? You're not that good. Speedrunners are, but you're not. So you're gonna drop to blue without at least 1 sharpness. I tested without sharpness, and you drop to blue giga fast, unless you only do offsets and kill the monster under 2 minutes. Even then, speedrunners will drop to blue towards the end of the run that I've seen. So that's my recommendation, at least 1 sharp. Otherwise, 3 attack, 1 affinity, 1 sharp would probably be the second best. But I don't know if 1 LE will lead to a second sleep in a 4-minute fight, let's say. So probably don't recommend it, but you know, RNG, who cares at this point? You still want as much raw as you can get. The raw meta will not change until our base raw becomes like 300, or we get monsters with actual hit zones that punish raw. Mizu definitely ain't gonna be that. And Zoshia isn't that either, from what we know of the low rank version. For the Decos, you want level 3 focus. It's too good, you need it. And then crit boost 5. Offensive guard exists, it does give the most damage, but it only lasts 10 seconds. So you have to constantly perfect block, as it doesn't trigger off your offset attack. And in multiplayer, you likely won't block as much. So it's just overall worse unless you're chasing the highest damage number over losing DPS as a whole, which means your kill time is going to be longer. But for the level 3 focus, you want a hybrid level 3 focus with handicraft level 1. That's the best in slot. But again, even with that, unless you're a speedrunner, I still recommend 1 sharp upgrade on your Artian. Zoshia is likely going to take longer to kill, so you definitely will drop sharpness if you don't get sharpness upgrades. So, best build for Greatsword for majority of people that watch this is this. It's 2-piece Anja, 2-piece Gore, full Agitator, Counter Strike via the level 3 Counter Charm, level 1 Resentment, and Earplugs level 2. You can't offset a roar, so Earplugs level 2 allows you to literally ignore a majority of the roster, allowing you free attacks for those 3-second windows. You only need level 3 for Zoshia, Gore when enraged, and Jin Dad, and I guess Gravios. Mizu will likely just need level 2, but you can lose the level 1 Resentment and get level 3 Earplugs and ignore everything. So up to you. But against like Arc, you're gonna put in Resentment. Against Zoshia, you put in the extra earplug for level 3. Simple. So going back, 2-piece Gore is 25% affinity after you overcome Frenzy with Antivirus level 3. We also get Counter Strike, which is 25 raw when you get hit, or Hyper Armor, aka tackle an attack that would have knocked you down. So you just need to tackle 1 move every 45 seconds and you keep it up. Or just get hit when you fail your offset attack timing like me. But we are going to use Anjan's 2-piece bonus to upkeep maximum might for that 30% crit. Usually you will have to dodge with a Greatsword or the tackle itself, so you don't want max might turning off every time that happens, so Anjan's set bonus prevents that. Some tips though, when you dodge, don't roll twice quickly. If you delay the second roll a bit, you can recover stamina to then do the second roll without turning off max might. Likewise, don't dodge then tackle, it will turn off max might. Instead, do an attack then tackle and your max might stays active. Now you do have 1 level 3 open. Technically, level 1 Adrenaline Rush is the best in slot here, but can you trigger it becomes the question. You'd have to somehow dodge an attack, or because we have earplugs, you can dodge at any time during a monster's roar and gain that 10 raw for 30 seconds, and try to somehow keep it up throughout the fight. Or you can remove the earplugs, put in Counter Strike in those level 2s, and then use a different charm to get either Adrenaline Rush level 3, or let's say Wex 2 with Adrenaline Rush level 1. Or just use Weakness Exploit 3 by replacing the level 3 slot for a Tenderizer Jewel instead. putting you at 90% crit without mantle. So very flexible setup, hence why it is often used. And you can go further with like Wex 2 and then Latent Power 1 in the level 3 slot, which triggers after taking a certain amount of damage or after 2 minutes, and you'll get 10% affinity and reduce stamina consumption for 2 whole minutes. So in a 4-minute fight, that is 50% uptime. But going back to the resentment setup with everything together in the good old calc, when the monster is enraged with Corruption Mantle, you have 100% crit. 75% with the resentment earplug setup, assuming the monster's Angie. Now this calc is assuming 225 Artian with a 5% base affinity, with 480 element as the base. For a Thunder Artian, let's say, you will get this damage against a 60 raw hit zone and 20 Ellie hit weak zone monster. I'm including this in case Zoshia's GS comes with element. This will be a nice data point of comparing to see if it's actually better than an elemental Artian or not. So with these inputs, you get 466 offset level 3 and 738 TCS. With Corrupted Mantle, assuming no nerfs, you get 539 and 854. The slight alternative you can do is this. Going with Gore A waste instead of B, you lose the level 2 slot, so losing resentment, for 2 level 1s. This allows you to put in Divine Blessing level 2, reducing the damage you take for a more comfy build overall. We don't know how tough Mizu or Zoshia will be, so this is a great safe option without sacrificing much damage. Next build is Crit Draw. This is technically not meta and can't compete with Build 1, but people do love the classic Crit Draw GS, and Crit Draw is back, baby, due to the skill now giving 100% crit, and the effect lasts for 3 seconds before wearing off, allowing you to do a full charge level 3 draw attack, and maybe one more attack before rolling and sheathing your weapon. So you do a level 3 draw charge, then dodge, then sheath, and repeat. The hope is Zoshia's GS will have a really high raw and this build becomes even better, but for now, I looked at the highest raw options, which is Guardian Dog Sword, Guardian Arc Sword, and the normal Doshagama Sword, and the reality is, they all suck. Even with Handicraft level 3, you're going to run out of sharpness very fast, especially if you plan to use Wound Strikes. I'm pretty sure you definitely get less than 10 hits for your draw attack with Crit Draw level 3, Handicraft level 3, and 1 Focus in the slots. So, no bueno. Artians are still the best. You don't need Handicraft, so you are going to get Crit Boost level 3, shortening the gap between their power. And the Artian lasts longer sharpness-wise, so overall DPS in the actual fight is better. At least against a 60 raw, 20 Ellie hit zone weak monster. Or part, I guess. But that's with a 4 attack, 1 sharp Artian. If you used an all attack 230 Artian, you actually surpass Guardian Doshagama and G-Arc, getting over 581 level 3, but since you can use the Sleep Greatsword from build 1 still, that will still be better than these other options because you get the sleeps. So Sleep Greatsword is the best in the game for everything. But if you hated Artians the way they look, Crit Draw does enable the only chance of normal weapons being at least somewhat viable here versus a 225 Artian sword. So if you can't get that perfect Artian roll or don't want to deal with an annoying ass grind, then you can use normal weapons. You opt for a 220 or higher raw greatsword with white sharpness already, and that come with either Crit Draw or level 3 focus. So basically only 2 options for greatsword since the tree sucks. The first is ooh woo, 220 raw, 300 water, definitely weaker than the Artian water GS, no doubt, but it comes with Crit Draw. So you get level 3 focus with level 1 Handicraft hybrid, then Crit Boost level 3 with the 2 in 1 slots, for effectively the same decos as an Artian. Against a 20 hit zone weak water monster, getting 557 charge level 3, lower than Guardian Doshagama, sure, but your sharpness lasts 4 times as long, so you'll never have to sharpen with this, and it looks cooler than the other swords by a big margin. The other option is the normal Arcvale Greatsword. Has more dragon, so 500, getting 563 versus a 20 Ellie hit zone monster. Less sharpness than Zuwu though, so you'll still probably have to sharpen, but not as much as the Guardian Doshagama stuff. But again, a perfect Artian will beat these. I'm just showing you extra options you can use instead that are only 5 to 10 raw behind. For the Artian though, you're gonna go focus level 3 hybrid with Handicraft, then Crit Boost level 3, and then Crit Draw level 3, for this build specifically. Or if you're okay with blocking every 10 seconds, I suppose you can go level 3 offensive guard instead of Crit Boost, something like draw attack, block, sheath, repeat, depending on how often the monster attacks, Now you can do a block cancel to speed up the block animation, so after your charge slash, hold forward on the thumbstick while spamming or holding block, and you'll cancel some of the recovery animation for most attacks with block. But Offensive Guard will bump your charge slash to 584 instead with Mantle, or in Artian's case, 593 with Mantle. As for armor, we go 4-piece Gore for the 15 raw, you get counter level 3, so you still have to tackle, agitator level 5, and adrenaline rush level 2 for the off ones that you get a dodge to activate it. And remember, you can use rock steady if you wanted to ignore attacks or roars while your corrupted mantle was on cooldown, so you can alternate between them. But if you like the Ear Plagues tech and think Adrenaline Rush level 2 is hard to activate consistently, then you go with this setup, with the Anjanath helmet, so all roars will be ignored, allowing you to safely crit draw charge anything. Oh, the monster's roars? Heh, free level 3 baby. So those two are the best GS builds. Greatsword can't really trigger burst or Adrenaline Rush well, so you kinda don't have much options armor wise. So hopefully Zoshia and Mizu can change that. Well, Zoshia at least, since Mizu will likely be evasive based. But yeah, use these builds to crush the title update. Again, get 600 likes on the video, and I'll make a dual blades video like this. And of course, after the title update, I'll update everything all over again. So comment down below if you think the meta will change after the title update. The update will be live on Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. So I'm going to stream the game as soon as it's live, so we can hunt and farm for a couple hours, and then the next day do multiplayer stream again, and then start working on builds after that. So if you don't want to miss any videos, subscribe for more Wilds epicness.